Hi everybody, I'm Irene Rubom Keller, licensed psychotherapist and author of the book, Foodaholic, The 7 Stages to Permanent Weight Loss. Today I'm going to be talking to you about surprise food. Surprise food. What it is, how to handle it, and more coming up. So what do I mean when I say surprise food? Well, here's an example from my life recently. My husband works at a company and they had someone come in and bring as a gift an entire box of pastries. And so the people at his work, had of it what they wanted, and there was quite a bit left. And so he thought he would be nice and bring it home for me. And so as you can see here from the picture, there were several small pastries in this box that looked amazing to me. Okay, that's surprise food. I was not expecting this food to enter my environment. I wasn't prepared for it, and all of a sudden, okay, there's food in my house. Surprise food. There's a good chance you're going to encounter surprise food in your life. Someone is going to surprise you and come over with cake. Or you're going to go over to someone's house and they made you lunch and you weren't expecting it. Or you go to, I like this one, all right? If you go to Starbucks, if you regularly go to a coffee place, they like to put out little samples. Have you noticed this? They put them in little beautiful paper cups. You know what I mean? Those little like muffin cups. And it's small, right? How many calories? Maybe 35, 40, innocuous little samples. That's surprise food. And that surprise food is often free. There aren't too many things more attractive to someone like us than free surprise food. You know what I'm saying? So it's difficult to deal with because you're going to want to have this food and you're going to need to now negotiate with this food as far as how you're going to have it or not have it, keep it or not keep it, and what are you going to do with the surprise food. So let's talk about some ways to deal with surprise food so that it doesn't throw you completely off track. I'm going to tell you what I did with this particular batch of surprise food. He brought this home at like 5:30 at night. I already had dinner. I was done for the day with food. So put it in the refrigerator with it in mind that I would have it with coffee the next day. Right, coffee the next day comes and I open the box and it was like having a dessert cart in your house, really. And how fabulous, because what my plan was, and I was able to execute it, was to have just a little bit of each one. Taste everything, but really not consume too much of anything. And that's what I did. So I kind of ate the berries off the top of the cheesecake. We don't need to go into the details. Part of the cream puff and a little bit of everything. I mean, just a spoon of it, a little spoon of everything else. And then while chewing, and I'm going to tell you about this tip in a minute, while chewing, I threw out the rest in the trash where I would not go back and get it. So let me tell you about the chewing technique and how it works. So this is how to stop a binge in progress. This is my own invention. It works for me, so I'll give it to you. Let's assume then that surprise food has entered your environment. And let's say that in this example, the surprise food that's come in is a lot. A whole cake, let's just say. Someone made you a cake, you have a win in your life, and someone was being nice, and they brought you an entire cake. It's now in your house. Okay. So let's say the cake is in your house, and no one else in the house is going to be eating it, and so it's yours. And you start, here's what I do. Hopefully you don't, but here's what I do. I'll sit down with the whole thing and a little spoon and just start kind of going for it and end up eating way too much of it. And knowing that if I leave that in my house, first of all, it's going to go stale anyway, and I'm going to eat way too much of it. So what I recommend you do, is that you take a small amount of it, and that's going to be yours. You're going to allow yourself to have this much. And then what you're gonna do is, you're gonna be having it while you're chewing. Be chewing when you do this, you're gonna throw out the rest. Such a way that you will not go back and get it, because some of us will go back depending on the situation. So you're going to throw it out in the trash, but you're still going to have some, and you're going to be chewing while you do it, so that letting go is much easier than if you just say to yourself, oh, I can't have this in the house, and just throw it out. The only caveat with that is that sometimes you can just throw something away and you don't mind. A whole cake comes into your environment, but it's not your favorite cake, and you're really on track with your calories and your diet and everything else working well, and it's not worth it to you, so you can just throw it away or give it away or somehow get rid of it so that it's not in your house tempting you when you're not in that same space. Sometimes that's easy to do, sometimes it's not. So the stopping the binge in progress, should you need it, you now have it. The other way to deal with surprise food is in the case of Starbucks, let's just say, and you're there to get coffee. Take your sample. Don't eat it right away if you can. Wait until you leave the store and then have it. Reason being, you can figure it out. They want you to have it. They want you to eat that sample and go, oh my God, this is so good, I have to get the thing, whatever it is. Let's say it's a chocolate croissant, they give you this little taste of it, and it's just like, oh my God. So you want to buy the whole thing. If you're in the store when you eat the sample, you're much more likely to get that thing than if you wait until you leave to try it. All right, so that's just a little tip to deal with surprise samples in stores, unless you're just gonna say no, which is certainly a good way to go. But again, if you're gonna feel way too deprived if you say no to that sample, then it might be better to have it in a small amount and leave the thing. Same thing applies to samples in markets, samples at See's Candy. I don't know if you have a See's Candy near you, but if you do, and you go in there, they'll give you a free piece of chocolate just because you walked in. They give out free samples. That's dangerous, and they know it. This is why they do it, because it's gonna make you want more. Very few people are gonna stop at that, right? So the samples at See's Candy can be dangerous. At least there, it's not a surprise. It's more like, I once went to Bloomingdale's, and they were having some kind of a special thing going on. And so I'm up on the second floor doing some shopping when this man comes up to me, and he's just like dressed like a butler, like just beautifully dressed, comes up to me. This is Bloomingdale's, I'm shopping for clothes, mind you, with a tray, like hors d'oeuvre tray, and he had little brownies beautifully displayed on the tray. Would you like a brownie? What is going on? I mean, I'm shopping for clothes. No, it was like some promotional thing, and there was surprise food. So what are you gonna do? It depends. Like, if you can just take a brownie, a piece of brownie, and have it, it makes you happy, you're done, have it, If having that little piece of brownie is gonna trigger you off on a sugar binge, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. So tips for dealing with surprise food really come down to knowing yourself and knowing how you feel about this particular surprise, and how you will feel if you say no completely, or how you can negotiate with this surprise to have some of it without overdoing. So that's basically it for today as far as dealing with surprise food. If you got anything out of this, please like and subscribe. I have a whole lot of videos already in the playlist about how to deal with food in general. And of course, you can always check out my book, Foodaholic, The 7 Stages to Permanent Weight Loss, if you are wanting to lose some weight. And that's it. Take care, and let me know how you're doing in the comments.